Hello, myRockworld fans. We are here in Augsburg. Exclusive interview with the Mick Ralphs Blues Band. And we have all members of the band at the table, which is Mick Ralphs. He is the founding member of the legendary Mate Hupel and also founding member of the all-star band Bad Company, which features also the two free legends, Paul Rogers and the drummer Simon Kirk. We have on the table Jim Marvin, which is the guitar player of the Mick Ralphs Blues Band.
Hello.
We have Stuart Maxwell on vocals.
Good evening.
We have Dickie Baldwin on bass.
Good evening.
And at last the drummer, Adam Perry. Welcome.
Hello.
To Germany. The first question, please. Maybe I ask Mick for that. Please tell us, how did the Mick Ralphs Blues Band come together?
In 2011, I've been playing with Dick in another band, and he was playing at a blues jam with some friends. Jim, Stuart was there, and I thought it would be a good exercise to put us all together in a little band, so I could do so. I wasn't playing with Mott or Bad Company, for something to do. So we got together, put the band together, and that was 3 years ago, I guess, now. And it's been very good.
So the band is for 3 years now playing in this lineup?
No, we had a different drummer.
Okay.
Now we have Adam. And the other drummer is a man called Sam Kelly, who does a lot of stuff in Germany.
And the idea for the band was, because it's called Mick Ralphs Blues Band, you gave your name into it.
Yeah.
But it's playing blues classics.
Yeah.
And it plays also some rock classics.
Some new stuff as well, some new songs. He's got a song, Stuart's got a song, I've got a couple of songs. We're incorporating new material with the old blues.
Cool.
So it's not all dependent on old stuff.
Is this for you kind of going back to your roots?
Yeah, it is.
To all of us?
Yeah. Well, I particularly started out doing, blues and soul music when I first started playing. So it's kind of full circle, yes, going back to that. But it's good fun, and we all like the same sort of music, so it works rather well.
This is your first tour in Germany. How is the reaction from the fans, and what is your feeling about that? Maybe I start the tour.
Yeah, we've had a great reaction from the fans, which is what we expected when we came to Germany, because we've all toured Europe before, and the European fans, not just Germany, are much more up for their music, I think, than the British fans. Are much more restrained, much harder to please, much harder to get going.
Why?
Because we're a small island race.
We've had too much good music.
We've had too much good music,
They take it for granted.
it just seems to be a British thing. You get successful, the Brits want to cut you down. I don't know what it is, but it just seems to be the way we are.
You tend to find that, especially in the UK gigs, you work really, really hard from the outset, and it almost feels like you have to win your audience over. When we've played in Europe, we tend to find that they're on our side straight away. So normally it's off and running. The gig's off and running from the first track, so it makes our job a little bit easier.
Okay. You want to add something?
No, not really, because they've said it all.
Very good.
Say a lot, do I?
You already released a live album with one new song. Please tell us something about this new release.
There's 3 new songs.
Three.
Yeah, we've got 3 new songs on the live album.
Okay.
One is Mick's song "Should Know Better," which is the title track, which the first track he'd written for a long time, actually, and he turned up at a rehearsal and it was almost fully formed as a song. So that was fantastic to have a new Mick Ralphs song to put on the album. And then the other 2, I had a song called "Big River," which was knocking around from other bands I'm involved with, and we put that in the set. And then the other one was kind of a jam in the studio that just came together between us, really. Jim's riff, and I put some lyrics to it. That's the song "Well Connected." So we straight away had 3 originals to put on the album, and then we just mixed it with the other tracks that we do live. And we were fortunate, weren't we? We'd done 3 or 4 gigs in a row, and we got to this club, the Musician in Leicester, which is a great club, and it was we were on good form. We got a guy in to record the show.
Yeah.
And it just happened on the night. It was brilliant. And so what you get is a really good representation of how we were that night.
Yeah, cool. Because as for blues records, I think the best blues records are live records. If you look to the old B.B. King or Freddie King or anything, so I love this live.
The other thing is with us, there's no overdubs on it. There's no tweaking or any type. But the other thing is that if you listen to the specifically the early Bad Company records, Bad Company were very much a band who what you heard on the first couple of albums was hardly any overdubs, right?
No,
it was very, it's the sound of a band playing. Mick especially, I think, wanted to take that into this band. We don't want to get too involved in overlaying stuff. That's the sound of 5 guys playing at that particular time. And I think, if our plans are to hopefully make a studio album, it'll probably be that way as well. There won't be loads and loads of overdubs on it. It'll be the sound of a band playing as live as possible.
So in the early days, often, and I saw it in the new film about Bad Company also, that mostly of the rock bands in the 70s, because there was no money to get a lot of time in the studios, you well trained, well rehearsed, you go in the studio and play your songs live. That was it.
Yeah.
But don't forget as well. So the other thing was that Bad Company was only 3 musicians and a singer.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to draft in other members. Today you'd probably get a lot of bands who would draft a keyboard player in or extra backing vocalist. These guys had to replicate what they recorded live.
Yeah.
So it's like Mick did a really cool thing. He showed me the guitar riff, the guitar solo for "Feel Like Making Love." Now Mick did it as a three-piece harmony solo, but then had to do it live himself when he came to play it on the record. And it's stunning how he's worked out harmony thing into one bit of guitar playing. It's brilliant guitar playing.
Thank you, Jim.
So this would be the next question. Any plans to record a few studio albums, and have you already wrote some songs together for that?
Yeah, I've got a few. We've got more ideas going around. I think after this run of dates in Germany, we'll have a bit of time to let it all soak in and probably come up with some more ideas when we get together to rehearse again. We just get an idea and chuck it around the rehearsal room. As long as somebody's got a basic idea of a song, a verse or structure, then we just add our bits to it.
And if you pros rehearse, is it more jamming or is it really working?
No, it's work.
No, it's working.
We don't mess around. We just pick an idea and work on it, or a particular song or arrangement.
Okay.
Because we're looking to go out playing it live. So it's not just jamming. We just like to work up new material, whether it's a cover of another song or a new song.
So what can we expect from the show tonight? The mix of the songs, the classics, also rock classics. What we can expect?
Well, a mixture, as you said. Old songs, new songs, covers, a couple of covers.
The way we approach it,
30-minute drum solo.
Well, the blues covers, we like the old blues stuff we do.
Yes.
There's some old tracks in there. We kind of redo them in a different way, so they won't sound like they were from the originals, will they? I mean, so that's kind of what you can expect from that.
We've made a little bit of an unconscious effort. As soon as we put the blues band tag on the end of anything, especially back in the UK, we know there's 1,000 blues bands out there.
That's it.
And what we've had to go a wee bit careful of is that we're not an out-and-out blues band. We don't play 12 bar for an hour and a half and variations of. We drop some in every now and again, but this band has morphed into a unit in its own right that plays blues-based rock.
Yeah.
If we would have just called it the Mick Ralphs Band, people would have come out expecting us to play totally Mott the Hoople or Bad Company. Well, we're not.
Which is a very small area for developing everything, because everybody expects Mott the Hoople
and not only that, we have to understand yes, we're musicians, but we're not Mott the Hoople or Bad Company.
Definitely.
And it's that thing. We didn't want it to become a tribute band.
This is what I wanted to say with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Mick especially, because if you think that Mick has put together, some really cool bands. He's got a name that he has to sort of protect. So if we just came out and it was Mick and a couple of interchangeable side guys, it would have been Mick would have. I don't think you wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have done it.
It's not the way you work, is it?
No.
I mean,
this is a five-way split.
It has its own identity, this band, which is how it has to be. Although they use my name, because if they didn't use my name, it would be people would be less interested to come and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
So that's why my name's there, not because of my ego. It's just to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And then they can make their own judgment. I mean, judges after you've heard it. We always say that.
What I loved in the film about is where you say, I am a band's player.
Yeah.
And this is what I love, because most of the musicians, and if you play for your own, it's always the problem to find guys which bring down their ego and goes to a songwriting, to a band, this kind of a band feeling. So I love that what you say in the film, because this is it.
Well, that's
about in a band. And I had, as we prepared this, we watched a lot of YouTube videos from your band. And
it's changed an awful lot.
You have to.
But it is about the songs.
But it's about the feeling. So it's not the feeling there's a Mick Ralphs and then there are five players. It's just the feeling this is a band who has fun and plays together.
Well, I think the thing about the way we work, and it comes a lot from the fact that Mick is, I mean, he's a guitarist, but I would say he's first and foremost a songwriter.
Yeah.
And then
I'd agree with
that. What we do is take songs. So we're beginning to drop all kinds of things in. Like we're doing What I Can't Stand the Rain, which Jim just pulled together the other night, and we've brought it out on tour. It's the first time we've played it. It's a great song. Yeah. But we as a band, then everybody brings something to it. We've all got different roots actually. Adam's got sort of rock and punky roots. Jim's Americana, Mick's soul and rock, and then Dickie brings a kind of a country and western and a very broad bass of stuff. When you've got a bass player that's got that kind of repertoire, there's a whole other dimension to the music, isn't there? I mean,
we're not all of us around this table are not necessarily blues players.
I am. I'm actually the only blues man in the band. The only other one who can actually play the blues in the band is Mick. He's a fantastic blues guitarist. And we've never heard it before because he's been playing with Motley, been playing Bad Company, Peter Green, Stan Webb, Eric Clapton, the great British blues guitarists were out there, Kim Simmons and all those guys. What we didn't know is that Mick Ralphs is the other one, because he was in a band that there was no call for it. I mean, when he first started out, you were doing it, weren't you? But, to stand in a room with a guy with a Les Paul and amp just cranked up to overdrive, and he just hits that one note.
You can hear the line that comes from for us as growing up.
50 years, all just goes wham, and you're back in the birth of the British blues and what went back to America and gave birth to all of that. It's a real privilege to be involved with it, and I know I've played a lot of blues festivals all over the place, and the blues now is, it's a guy with a strap with his head back whacking out solos and solos, occasionally singing a bit. But it's much more about rock and ego than it is about playing the blues. The blues has always been a vocal music, a song music. Right. So what the blues does is say, okay, here's 3 chords. That's all you've got. Sometimes it's only 1 chord.
It's about feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you going to do as a musician? And the musicians that come and say, oh, it's the blues, it's boring. Well, that means you're boring, son, because if you can't bring something to this, don't bother, And the amazing thing that's happened here is that 5 blokes have come together, and we're all bringing something different to it, and I think that's what makes it work. I mean, it started as a jam session, and it was actually Dickie. It took shape, didn't it? When you arrived at this, it was a great old pub as well. The Nag's Head in Wickham is a classic British blues pub. We've had John Lee Hooker there and all sorts, proper venue. So this was a blues jam, and various musicians were involved. And then when Dickie turned up, and there was Jim and there was me and there was the original drummer in the band, Sam, who's now gone to his... But clicked.
It's more or less straight. It was just one of those weird things. I've never experienced anything like that. I just got invited down there, and I live in High Wycombe. I live in the place, but I'd hardly ever been down there before. And I'd obviously seen these guys on the the pages and what have you. And this guy just said, do you want to come down one night? So yeah, all right. I'm doing nothing else. Coffee's gone cold or whatever, so away we went and met these guys. And as soon as as soon as you see them or you play with them, it was like an instant. Jesus, these guys are really good. And it's even on a jam, it was like a gig, because with not knowing them before, but just a look or a nod, all of a sudden it just go down to nothing. So there was light and shade in a jam, and that just never happens. And it was. And I said to Mick, he'd just come out of an operation for his first hip, and he was doing nothing. Come on down, have a look, see what's happening. He went, "What? This is all right." And that was it. That was
Next question to all of you: who were your heroes starting out playing music?
Initially, Buddy Holly, listening to my dad's record collection, and then I went from there really through obviously the Beatles and Hendrix and Cream, and as it went on for me on the guitar, really more so people like Ry Cooder for Feel, Lowell George, and bands like with the band. So. I just love Chaz and Dave. And I've said in an interview that they got it all wrong, but Chaz and Dave for me, Dave Peacock, the bass player, was just, I just loved it. Nothing flash, but just absolutely solid and on it. But
he was another songwriter as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But then you've still got to take into consideration Pino and Jaco Pastorius. I mean, they're just out there as bass players. I could never ever achieve that, but just
Mick, who were you? He was.
Chuck Berry, I suppose, for songwriting.
Yeah.
I was more of a writer than a player then. Chuck Berry, and then I got into Booker T and the MGs, Otis Redding. But I was starting to write then, so Chuck Berry interested me initially because of the lyrics he wrote and the way they rolled in, they metered in the time of the music. So yeah, he was a big influence, I suppose, the main one, and then all the other stuff just around it.
Okay. Adam?
Or musically or drums?
This is always the question to the drummer, because it's all about drummers.
Well, for music.
And music.
Music
first hero, wasn't it?
Initially would be glam rock probably, because that's when I first started taking an interest.
You mean like the Sweet?
Yes, I love the Sweet, and because there used to be a weekly television program on television in Britain called Top of the Pops.
I know it is.
And so as a young kid, I would have watched that, and that's how I got interested in the drums and in the music, because you'd see all the great bands, so it'd be Slade, The Sweet, Status Quo, all these bands.
The difficulty in the 70s, because I'm also T-Rex was awesome.
T-Rex, yeah, definitely.
And if you have these boots and you have to play with these boots, the drums, this was a difficulty for me.
Yeah, that in Mott the Hoople.
Mott the Hoople, another band. But then after that, then when I started playing, it was pretty much the era of punk rock had just started to happen. So very quickly I got into things like, I liked the Clash and the Pistols, but I loved a band called Buzzcocks, one of my favourite bands. And so I got into that scene as well.
And what is your drummer?
Hero? So many. So too many really to name.
More the chess guy or more the rock guy?
I suppose the first people I liked was Mick Tucker from Sweet. Bev Bevan from ELO would have been another drummer I really liked. And then on the punk side, I really liked John Mayer from the Buzzcocks. Okay. I mean, none of these guys are particularly great technical drummers, but they're the sort of guys that influenced me.
Okay.
But now it's other stuff.
Okay. Stuart, your heroes?
Well, it's Sonny Boy Williamson II was the one that really turned me on to harmonica playing. It's the great chess guys, Howlin' Wolf, Junior Wells, who was kind of a protege of Sonny Boy, same sort of thing. Big Walter Horton, very much one of my great heroes. But I mean, really, Sonny Boy for the poetry. Yeah, Big Dusty Car Park. He was a good one. Jason Dave, who's one of the more modern players.
Yeah.
And I mean, among the modern players, people like Rod Piazza, but also Muddy Waters, Robert Johnson, the usual suspects, really. But I'm a huge Hawkwind fan, Pink Floyd, Down. I'm listening to my sons turn me on to Meshuggah, Down, Refused, Sepultura. I love heavy rock.
Okay.
You know, you get
This is cool. This is
you
good.
get the story.
But you know the roots of the blues, and this is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about and all the jazz stuff. I mean, Adam didn't even talk about his jazz influences. And for me, one of the things that helps the blues dimension to the band, and which most blues bands don't understand, I didn't understand it till recently, is that it's nothing to do with rock. Of course, you don't want a rock drummer in a blues band. You want a jazz drummer.
You're right.
Because the blues came out of, or the jazz came out of blues, blues came out of jazz. But the first drummers, Fred Below and Nodie Payne and those guys, they were jazzers.
Yeah.
So you get that.
Shuffles are hard to play.
Yes,
It's the groove.
Shuffle is hard
It's
to play.
hard, really hard to play.
Yep.
Yes.
I noticed it when we did the Bad Company songs, which have the shuffles. It is so hard to play that you have this slow groove, and this is what Simon Kirk's awesome.
Fantastic.
I never checked him how he played until I had to play these songs also from in a band.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
It's, wow. So one last question to you, Mick. As everybody hopefully know, there is a brand new documentation music film by John Brewer about Bad Company, the 40 years anniversary.
Yeah.
He is the one, he made the great B.B. King film, The Life of Riley.
Yes, he did.
And he also did this film, which is brilliant. I saw it yesterday. And this brings us to the question, because as you were the founding member of Mate Hoople, also Bad Company, the end of the film is open, because there is some suggestions about, yes, maybe we do a new album, maybe we tour again after the 40 years reunion tour. So this is the end of the film. What does that mean if we have you here?
Well, we've always left the door open, depending on what everybody else is doing. But of course, as we're getting older, the door gets a little bit more closed. So, you know.
And what about the plan for Mott the Company? That'd be interesting.
No, we are doing some dates in America this year with Bad Company.
Oh, really?
With Lynyrd Skynyrd.
And in the but with the lineup of the 40 years anniversary.
Yeah, the same lineup as last year. We did
Okay.
we did some dates with Lynyrd Skynyrd last year.
Okay.
Simon, myself, and Paul, and two other guys. And we're doing another, just only 10 shows this summer with Skynyrd again.
And with Mate Hoople, you played this
We
reunion
did that
tour
in
last
November.
year. Yeah.
And that, I don't know if that's ever going to happen again. It may. It's too political. There's too many, not personal problems, but business problems.
Understand.
The guys in the band are great. We all get on really well.
So there is a friendship, there is a hope. Maybe there is also touring again of Bad Company, maybe also of Mate Hoople.
Yes.
But mainly at the moment it is the Mick Ralphs Blues Band.
That's it.
So some words to your fans, please, at last.
Okay, I'll do this.
This is the clip then after.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, okay, well then off you go.
Some words to your fans.
Come and see us and have a good time. Thank you and good night.
That's very good.
Very good. Nothing to say more about that?
There is nothing to say more, is there?
I was going to say, the drink's too wet with that.